I've seen a Minecraft movie, and can I just say, drop the A, it's cleaner.
Drop the, just Facebook, it's cleaner.
What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So today I've got my review of a Minecraft movie, which hits theaters this Friday. I was able to see the movie early, so I've got my honest, spoiler-free thoughts on the movie now. Before I get into this, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts on this movie, as well as your predictions or expectations if you've not yet seen it. And of course, subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. I mean, quite a bit. So let me give you some background on my history with Minecraft as a whole before I get into my actual thoughts on the movie. So, I am by no means a Minecraft gamer. I've played it a couple times throughout the course of my life, in different periods of my life, but I've never really been a hardcore Minecraft guy. So, I'm very aware of the fact that this movie might not be 100% targeted to me as someone who doesn't really care for Minecraft all that much. I'm aware of its popularity, I'm familiar enough with it, but again, I am by no means like a hardcore Minecraft guy, so wanted to give you that info before I actually dive into this review. Looking at the movie, right, we got the trailers, the marketing, the build-up, all that never sold me. I thought the movie looked bad, to be frank, and having seen it and walking out, I say, yeah, the marketing delivered because the movie was not very good. I usually go like pros, cons with a lot of my reviews, but let's just start with some negatives here because I gotta be upfront. There's a lot of issues with this movie. A lot. I mean, from the opening, this movie is essentially telling the audience everything you need to know, speeding through pieces of information. Like Jack Black's character Steve is basically voicing over the first 10 minutes and just directly talking to the audience. It's not even like he's a character in a movie. He's basically just laying the groundwork and setup for this film as Jack Black, and he's just letting you know, hey guys, before we get into this movie, this is essentially everything you need to know. That's what it felt like, and it was like, guys, you can have a little more faith in the audience. And that was a persistent issue with the Minecraft movie, was how dumb it treats the audience. More on that later. But yeah, like the first 10 to 15 minutes of this movie set up the character of Steve, and then it's like we do the same thing with Jason Momoa's character, and then these two other characters, and there was such a forced setup for them. Like there was no authentic way to get to know these characters. It just felt like they had to check the box and be like, okay, these are the main characters, and here's their generic backstory. You gotta like them. They're the main characters of this movie. It felt like they were burdened by having to have interesting human characters when it's a Minecraft movie that, in my opinion, should have been animated. I don't know why they went with this weird hybrid live action and like CGI creature route. I think they could have just made this a straight up animated movie and it would have been for the better, in my opinion. Look at something like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. That was an animated take on an animated video game and it made over $1 billion. So I feel like it was a missed opportunity to not just make an animated Minecraft movie. Topic for another time, I guess, but still, what are we doing? So aside from rushing through the setup of characters and frankly introducing some of the most generic characters you've ever seen, the movie in general is about as cliche as it gets. Think of every cliche in movie history, there's probably a handful of them in this film. Something that really plays heavily into the cliches here is the dialogue. Like a ton of the lines of dialogue in this film are something you would see on like a top 10 movie cliche list or movie lines that are used too much list from Watch Mojo. It was like, what are we doing here, guys? For example, this is just one of the many examples that comes to my mind off the top of my head. There's a scene where like there's some booby traps and Jack Black's character Steve is like, I set up some booby traps here a while ago. I just don't remember where they are. And as he's saying are, Jason Momoa's character steps on one. It's like moments like that just piled up and it was like, oh, this is so predictable. And I would be a little more forgiving of that if I actually felt like a connection to one of the characters or like attached to any of them in a way that could actually get me invested in the story, but that just wasn't the case here. It was wild because the entire movie was really trying to hit home on this message about creativity and how important it is to have creatives in the world. Yet ironically, the movie itself trying to talk about creativity is not creative in the slightest at all. Like I said, it's about as generic as they come and it's flat out dumb. Now I know in my out of theater reaction I called the movie dumb. People were like, well, Minecraft's inherently dumb, you idiot. Minecraft's dumb. And I'm aware, it's like this video game open world thing where you could do dumb things and there's goofy animals running around. But still, have some respect for the audience. Like, movies can be dumb, but to treat the audience like they're a bunch of idiots, that's where I'm like, what are we doing? And then people will fire back and say, well, it's a kid's movie. And yeah, I know. There are plenty of kids movies out there that treat 5-year-olds with respect, at least. and can trust them to pick up on basic plot points without having to feed them to you, basically pausing the movie and saying, this is this. Like, you can have some faith in the audience here, guys. And when it comes to the execution of certain elements, it infuriated me, if I'm being honest. Like, any moment of danger a character's in, you can go ahead and say, okay, they're probably gonna be fine here. Like, characters get bailed out left and right. There's, again, so much predictability involved here that it feels like you're watching a movie you've seen a million times. It's the way I felt watching this. I was like, oh, I know exactly where we're headed here, and 9 times out of 10, I was correct. But when it comes to a Minecraft movie, the biggest issue I have is the humor, because my God, did it miss the mark entirely. I don't even think it got one laugh out of me the entire movie. Like, if you guys have seen Thor: Love and Thunder and you're aware of that film's humor, think of that humor elevated by about 10 times, and it's nonstop. Every single line of dialogue is trying to hit some home run and make you just fall out of your seat laughing, belly laugh style, but it just never lands home. There were multiple jokes in this movie where there were crickets in my theater, and it was almost like awkward. I felt bad. I was like, this just did not land with anybody. And Jack Black is a very lovable guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a legend in many ways. I think of School of Rock. He's got a great performance in Tropic Thunder. He's the voice of Po from Kung Fu Panda. Jack Black has delivered some comedy gold in the past, but for me personally, I feel like that Jack Black shtick has kind of run its course for me. I'm not speaking for the world, I'm speaking for myself. This is my review. I feel like I have to hit that home. This is just all my opinion. You can have yours, more power to you. But when it comes to this specific movie, I just felt like Jack Black was doing his mannerisms way over the top, and every single scene he's in, he's trying to do some, like, over-the-top Jack Blackism, I'll call it, you know, where he's like, yeah, and he's just doing things like that the entire movie, every scene. It got irritating to me, honestly. I was like, can you just tone it back a little bit? It just didn't land comedically. And I'm not making this part up, you might think I am, but it got to a point where Jack Black's character is doing musical numbers. He's singing songs in this movie to the point where it felt like we were doing an SNL parody of if a studio were to make a Minecraft movie. Just way over the top. And in terms of the visuals, it's such a jarring stylistic choice to have these live action actors walking around the overworld. It just doesn't work. Like, almost they should have full sent on like some sort of Space Jam thing, a reverse Space Jam we can call it, where there's like an animated world, but it's like hand-drawn animation and the characters are walking around as opposed to what we got. Just a thought, or even go in on like the pixelation of it all. Make it actually look like you're in Minecraft more so than just this weird CGI world that feels off-putting more than anything. But no, this humor genuinely missed the mark, and to me, results in like this cringe fest of a movie. It just frustrates me because no one wants to sit through that, right? And I have to make this really, really clear. It would have been more acceptable and I would have been more forgiving of it if the message the film's trying to deliver wasn't so empty. Because the movie thinks it's making some profound statement about creativity and the human spirit and how, like, oh, we all have that creative drive inside of us, but they're just delivering empty words the entire time. They're not doing anything to make the audience feel this emotional connection or genuinely moved to want to go out and you know, inspire creativity in the world, because the movie itself is soulless in my mind. Like, it's more worried about speaking these empty words about creativity than showing you anything of value to prove that point. Actions speak louder than words, and there was really nothing, again, emotionally moving about creativity in this film. It's trying so hard to be like, look at us, this is a movie to inspire creativity in kids. But when you take a step back and look at the actual movie itself, it's the complete opposite of that. So I mentioned Jack Black. Jason Momoa is also in this movie, and this just wasn't it. Jason Momoa, charismatic guy, obviously. Great as Duncan Idaho in Dune, he's Aquaman. But, you know, in this movie specifically, similarly to how I mentioned Jack Black being over the top, Momoa's got that dial cranked up as well and just was doing too much for me. The character was just beyond goofy and the performance wasn't it. And I gotta talk about a subplot in this movie that you've seen in the trailer with the Jennifer Coolidge character. It was a complete waste of time anytime we cut to her character. It was this ongoing, never-ending bit gone wrong in my mind. And I can't get over the choice for the visuals of this film, having humans in this overworld. It works for the story they set up, but man does it feel off. It's such a bizarre choice, and the execution, again, is lacking. And I noticed too, there were multiple scenes where the cast is together in a scene and like they'd be talking, you know, Jason Momoa and the other supporting characters with Jack Black's character. And you could almost tell that not all the actors were on set that day, but it was obvious there were stand-ins. It was really noticeable to me specifically. There's a scene like not long after Steve meets up with the group pretty early on in the movie, and I was like, they're probably talking to a stand-in right now. I don't think they're all together. The way it was edited, the way it was shot just felt awkward to me. And then let's get into like the villain of the movie, if you can even call them that. There were some forced stakes here out of the gate. It reminded me of something out of like a Transformers Rise of the Beast, or Venom Let There Be Carnage, where they try and set up this menacing villain via voiceover, and they're like telling the audience, oh, this person's menacing, this is so scary, but there's no reason to actually be afraid, nor is there really a physical threat that exists truly at any point in time. So again, there's sort of artificial stakes in this movie, which just took me out of it. At the end of the day, a Minecraft movie is not an atrocity, but it's like a 3 out of 10 for me. It's a very poorly done movie, and to me it's just sad more than anything. Like, I feel kind of defeated walking out of this movie. I'm not a Minecraft fan, I had no expectations, but I'm defeated that movies like this exist with these big name actors, these huge budgets. I don't like to use this word, but I feel like if I were to apply this word that's used a lot on social media to a movie like this, the word I'm talking about is slop, and I feel like this is kind of that. I know that's used a ton, kind of like the whole, oh, the script feels like it's written by AI, but this movie is not only sloppily done, but it is kind of slop. You've got actors somewhat phoning it in, and it just feels like it's, oh, look at us, we're making a movie about creativity, but the movie itself is the complete opposite, and it frustrates me deeply that this movie will probably make a lot of money because of the Minecraft name alone, and I said that coming into the year. I was like, it doesn't matter if this movie's a pile of crap, it could make $1 billion, and I stand by that. Very interested to see where others lie with this movie, but for me, just wasn't my jam at all. I thought it was horribly done, and I would not want to watch this movie again. I take a step back though, and I go, this is just my opinion. We got Minecraft gamers, and you got, kids, the target audience. Will they get a kick out of it? And even then, I'm not sure. I don't know if kids are even gonna care for this movie. And in terms of Minecraft gamers, there are definitely gonna be some nods and like references they pick up on, but even then, when it's all put together, I just don't know if this movie's gonna really work for anyone, and that's a shame, because it feels like it has no heart. And you can tell when there's no heart in something, and that's kind of where I'm at with the Minecraft movie. So all in all, a Minecraft movie, highly forgettable watch, very dumb movie that treats the audience like they're dumb, and it's also a movie that's like, yeah, look at us, we got a lot to say about creativity, when in fact the movie is not creative at all. So I do not recommend this. Unfortunately, I am not a fan. It is one of the worst movies, actually probably the worst movie I've seen in 2025, and that's just how I feel about it. I encourage you to go watch the movie and form your own opinion. And also, if you watched this full review, I respect you immensely, because I know a lot of people will probably just comment halfway through. But if you made it to this point in the video, comment down below, #complete. That way I know you actually watched my full review, and you gain a little bit more respect, all right? But no, that does it for my review of a Minecraft movie. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, hit that like button, subscribe to that notification bell, and let me know your thoughts on this movie down below. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.